Hello class and welcome to MSE 608B. It's week 4. This is our video introduction. It's an overview of the components that you're going to be exploring this week in week 4. So let's go ahead and jump in and take a peek at what we've got in front of you for week 4. Congratulations, number 1, on completing week 3. Putting all of that information together for us sets the stage for us to move into creating what we call a business scorecard. A balanced business scorecard, and that's going to lead into KPIs. So key performance indicators are critical for an organization. You can see that as we continue to move forward with the wind energy system, the WES company, that there are specific areas that there are gaps in, that we don't have the information that is required, and you can see that how filling this out week by week by week, and as we move into week 4, how essential it is for us to have this information to keep our company moving forward. This is what a high technology or a high-tech firm is required to put together, and leaders and managers are the team that kind of blends together to get this information. So everything that we're exposing you to are the components of what you're going to need to be able to be versed in as we move forward with a leadership or a management position in a high-tech firm. So let's take a peek for this week at what our lectures are. This week, you're going to see that I've got a lecture set up for you on high technology teams. These are high technology teams, they're high performing teams. Sometimes these are going to be teams that are very technically oriented. So you're going to find that there's a lot of different skill sets, a lot of different people from a lot of different backgrounds that are going to be brought together for you. This is a really powerful lecture for you. It's on high technology teams. And then we're going to move into the live lecture, the Zoom lecture on Wednesday night from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and you can see that's going to be on high-performing teams. What are high-performing teams? What does that mean? What are the components of it? What's required of people on a high-performing team? So those are the 2 different lectures that we've got lined up for you this week. In addition to that, we've got another case study for you. So this week, you've got another case study coming out of Cases in Leadership. So make sure you've got your Cases in Leadership book or the PDF available for you. Today, this one is going to be based on what we call a bomb in your pocket. It's the Nokia India case study. It's a really powerful one. Let's go ahead and pull that up. That way you get a chance to see what it looks like. One of the things that I need to make sure that you understand is each week the case studies are based upon what I think are really valid leadership and management challenges in high-tech companies that are current. Even though these may have been a couple years old when they were designed and developed, the challenges that these companies run into and the case studies are exactly the kind of things that we're running into today in our high technology companies. So once again, you've got 5 different questions: who, what, where, when, why. So the 5 W's, go ahead and use that template that I introduced you to last week, and don't forget that we're going to explore it with that model. The 5 practices of exemplary leadership. So this model is what you're going to be reviewing it off of, just like we did last week. So I've got a template for you. Let me go ahead and close this down and we'll pull that template up. So once again, every week you've got the same type of template that you can open up. It's going to give you the ability to answer the questions. Let me get one more opened up and then we're good. There we go. Here's your individual case study. So once again, document the 5 W's and then the 5 essay questions off of the practices. So the 5 practice questions, those are going to be required. Okay. Now one thing that I haven't talked about in a couple weeks, and I wanted to make sure that I reiterated it because last week we didn't get a couple of them, are the team leadership reports. So make sure each week your team leader is filling out that team leadership report. We ended up getting them all, but we had to do a little bit of prying to get a couple of them out of the different leaders. So I want to make sure you know that every week the team leader is responsible for not only submitting the assignment and getting it uploaded, but they're responsible for filling this out, because as the new team leader comes in, they should be reading what was done previously. They should understand what the handoff is. This is almost like a handshake document where people can understand Last week, the leader moved us to this point. This week's objective should be based upon evolving last week's. Okay? Now, once we get through a bomb in your pocket piece of it, you're done with all the individual components for this week. Now, we do have two different components for you from a team-based perspective. So we're going to have you put together a business scorecard, or sometimes referred to as a balanced scorecard or balanced business scorecard, and key performance indicators. So last week you created 15 different SMART goals for us based on 3 different strategies. The corporate strategy all the way down to the functional level. So we've really got a good, I'll call it, step-down approach from our strategies down into clear objectives and goals. And now what we want to do is we want to start to understand how that fits into the business model. So for week 4, we've got a document for you. Let me pull it up that kind of walks you through what the assignment is. So you're going to see that you're going to be designing a business balance scorecard and KPIs. We give you the information and a template on how to put this together, and it's going to be based upon 4 different strategy areas or 4 different strategy descriptions. So you've got your customer is one of them. The next one is going to be the financial side of the house. The next one is going to be internal processes. And the 4th one is going to be looking at it from an employee standpoint. And you're going to see that there's specific information that you're required to fill out. Now I've got 2 spreadsheets, 2 Excel files created for you. The first one is going to be based on putting together exactly what we're talking about here. So for your customer's perspective, you're going to look at the goals, the objectives, how you want to measure it, and what the target would be. Okay? The next piece that you're going to have is going to be the financial side of it. So let me go ahead and move my picture just a little bit out of the way so that we can get things shifted here. Let me just do this. I'm going to do it this way. That way you can see we're going to talk about the strategy that was designed and then how it moves for all 4 of these areas, and you're going to see that you will complete all of this information. All these cells will be finished. The objective, how do you want to finish that, how you would measure it, and what the target is. And we've got accompanying documentation for you that walks you through that. Now, once you've got that business scorecard designed and developed, you'll be able to see that we've got an example for you here. So don't forget to look at the example. This is another high technology company, and this is what their scorecard would have looked like. You can really get an understanding of what yours should be like when you finish it. It should be very similar. The next piece is going to be designing KPIs, key performance indicators. How do you want to measure these strategies? How do you know that you're successfully accomplishing a strategy? And there's a series of both qualitative and quantitative indicators. And some of them are leading indicators, which means that you're looking at things that are happening in the future or in real time. And then there are lag indicators. What has happened in the past? And finding the right blend of those is going to be a challenge. So we've created a whole list of different KPIs for you to use. We've got reference documentation in there, but you're going to be required to go ahead and create 2 KPIs for each one of the strategies. So for your customer's perspective, you've got KPI 1, KPI 2. So ultimately for this piece of the assignment, you're going to be developing 8 key performance indicators and describing them. What would the action be? What is it, how much, by when, and the KPI statement itself, how you would phrase that measurement. And remember that a good KPI statement is going to be talked about having the action, the what, how much, and by when as components to it. Okay, and all of this is referenced also in the PowerPoint document that we're making available to you. But don't forget that there's also a spreadsheet available for you for KPIs. So once again, you're going to have a KPI spreadsheet. You would fill all of this information out. So the team leader for this week is going to be submitting those 2 documents. We need to make sure that you get those 2 documents submitted to me in addition to the team leadership report. That's the team assignment. You can see that we started with mission, vision, purpose, and then we've driven that down into strategy. How did we look at our competitors' strategies versus ours? Where are the areas that we can really explore? Down into goals and objectives, all the way down into the business scorecard, which is going to give us this level or this granularity of being able to measure the success of the WES organization, Wind Energy Systems. Now, for this week also, we've got a couple great threaded discussions or discussion forums for you. I want to make sure that you understand, once again, 3 graded discussions on 3 separate days. For each of the discussion forums will get you full credit. You need to be in there, and remember, help move the conversation forward in a positive direction. This week we're going to talk about leadership inspiration and leadership challenges. And then don't forget, in addition to that, this week, let me go grab them for you. Here we go. Our textbooks, the leadership challenge for this week is going to be pages 143 through 191. We're getting almost 3/4 of the way through the book. You're a little over halfway through the book now. You're really starting to understand the leadership challenge. The model is really, really strong, and you guys are pulling at it very, very well. The other book is Bob Chapman's book. You're starting to see how this is working. 113 through 154 are the pages you'll be reading this week. This puts you a little over halfway through this book also. So you're really starting to understand the challenges that Bob had in his organization, how he had to restructure that, and what it looks like when you start to step forward and say, I need to find a different way to lay people off. I need to find additional jobs for them. There's some philosophies for people-centric leadership that are very, very important that he is giving you a great guide to talk about. Okay? That's what we've got lined up for you for week 4. It's going to be a great week. This is also the halfway mark for the session. So you're halfway through the material. You're halfway through the course. Congratulations. Let's get going. We're going to move into week 5 after we're done with this, but let's get week 4 out of the way. There's a lot to do. Have fun, and feel free to contact me with any problems, issues, or concerns you've got in any of the methods available. We'll see you soon. Bye.